Hey guys, welcome to Monday night. Welcome to our Monday night podcast. I'm in a new location today, as I will probably be in a new location. I guess I don't know. I'll be in a new location next Monday for sure. And we'll see where we go from there. I'm gonna wait for Shakti to hop on. I'm in Ducktown, Tennessee. I'm kind of right in the area of like Tennessee, Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina. I'm like right in that area. So beautiful here. Just waiting for it to connect. Hey.
Hey.
What up?
Here I am.
There you are.
There's my hair too. I have the zip code today. All that hair, guys. Stop. I don't flat iron my hair.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Got falling for everybody in the club.
Seriously, send some over here. I'm like, fluff it up a little bit.
Ridiculous. When I used to be long, I looked like Pocahontas with a horrible humidity problem.
Oh my god.
That was like my normal state of being on average.
Oh my god. So my hair used to be super thick and it's like died over time. I'm not sure what happened. But
Life
happens. It died and I got gray. Like what? Is that what our 30s are?
As soon as I had my son, it was like gray, like no hair pigment color. I was like, shit, that's what children do to you. They come out and all your hair pigment.
Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna try to turn on. I really don't want the selfie light in my glasses, but it's also still kind of dark. So, ooh. So
the alien Spock eyebrows.
Oh I know they're back kind of, but it's a little bit better.
Between your eyebrows and my volume of my hair, we are on it today. We are on it.
Girl, these eyebrows are so much better though than that one night. That one night they were like just insane.
I just want to make a disclaimer that if anybody watching this tonight is having like the worst Mercury retrograde experience of their entire fucking life, like I'm 100% with you, and it is okay because
it didn't happen until like for me. It didn't happen until like I don't know. All of a sudden last night I was like, "You win. I surrender. All right, we're gonna play that game. Cool,
girl." I'm like, what in the world? What did I do? Why is this one gotta be so damn bad? All the other ones were kind of like lukewarm, but this one just killed me.
Because it's fucking Aries.
Jesus.
That's what we do.
I don't, because every Aries I've ever dated, I was like,
yeah.
Too much for me. I already got enough fire in me. Y'all need to take your fiery asses out of here.
Yeah, no, we're super intense. We're intense, and when we're pissed, you know it.
Clearly. Mercury was not having it this time around, because I can't tell you how my inbox is flooded full of people complaining about Mercury retrograde.
So funny. And actually when I had my astrology session, she was like, yay, hey Abby. When I'm trying to multitask, which doesn't work so well. But I'm like, what am I actually doing? No, when I had my astrology session, she was like, Mercury retrogrades don't typically affect you and they don't typically affect me too much.
And this is not super bad for me either.
And this one has been, like I said, when it started out, I was like, kind of liking this shit. Yeah, no, we're Mercury and I are doing just fine. And then last night happened, and I was like, okay, well, all right.
Mercury and I are not doing just fine.
Apparently.
We are having at it. I think I've been having a combination of not just my own personal experiences, but feeling the collective. I've really been feeling the collective, and more than usual. I mean, I'm typically pretty tapped into what's happening collectively, globally, energetically. A lot of my feeling into the day comes from that. Like, I can really tap in and be like, where are we? And feel that. But I've also noticed that I've been avoiding doing things like more meditation or more going into the silence. I've like kind of been avoiding doing the centering work. And it's making me feel really frazzled. And I think it's just coming more to the surface that the way that we are evolving right now as energetic beings, and especially for those of us who are highly empathic and highly sensitive, we don't have the luxury of not doing that anymore at all.
No.
Because it will dramatically affect our capacity to function and show up in this reality that we are now in.
It'll fuck you, for
It's
sure.
part of our conversation.
For sure, because I've been, for the last 3 weeks to a month, I don't remember exactly how long, I've been meditating an hour every single morning religiously. And that shit has helped. Like, I don't know where I would be, honestly, if I wasn't meditating an hour every single morning. And I've been adding in an additional meditation in the evening right before I go to bed. And that's been a game changer for me, because what happens is that if you don't realign before you get into bed, then when you wake up in the morning, you're not aligned. And so then when you try to realign, it's so much harder when you wake up misaligned, right? So I noticed such a huge difference when I meditate before bed and when I put my phone across the room and I'm not on social media before I go to sleep. Like, that shit makes such a difference. And I'm telling you that when I slip back into old patterns of not meditating before bed and like scrolling Facebook right before I fall asleep, I wake up with the worst anxiety ever. So, yeah.
I mean, I know about that. I've read about that, but it's interesting to hear your experience of that.
Yeah, it's been huge for me.
It's been intense. The anxiety has been really high. I just read out.
Pretty much.
That's how my toddler's been too. Like, that's pretty much the definition of my 2-year-old right now. Like, I'm so sweet. I have murderous rage with toddlers. That's like the go-between with him right now. And you know, this conversation, I mean, it's about Mercury retrograde, but it really ties into the topic of growth, right? And I kind of want to share a little bit of backstory about how we came up with this topic and like what was my ultimate final motivation. This wasn't the only thing that kind of tipped the scale into the realm of let's talk about what growth really entails and what it means to live the kind of life where you're really conscious and you're really engaged. But this was definitely an instance where I felt like, okay, we need to talk about this. So I had someone reach out to me today who has been following me for a while, and I built a relationship with, and you know, she's in a difficult situation because she is beginning to realize that she needs to turn around her health and she needs to turn on her habits. Do you feel me? Her habits, but her whole household has this pattern. She's got several kids and she's married, and they all are in a habit of eating a certain way and doing certain things. And so for her to be the pioneer in that situation where she's trying to steer the ship in a different direction, she's getting a lot of flashback, and she's starting to feel like a victim of that situation. Like, she wants to be rescued out of this. She doesn't want to do the work. She feels like it's being forced on her. She feels like she wants to be, you know, taken out of the story, and she doesn't want to have to change how she is, et cetera, et cetera. And I sent her a message, and it was just a very direct message of like, look, I hear you communicate all the time, and this goes to all of you guys watching. This is not about her. This is about every single one of us who follows us or follows anybody like us who talks about this stuff, talking about how much you admire us and our growth and our courage and our consistency and how much we show up and how vulnerable we are. And Ann and I both share really vulnerable, raw shit all the time on social media and put ourselves on blast 24/7. And we receive so many messages of people being like, oh, we're so inspired by you and motivated by you. But then when it comes to doing the work in your life, like when you're faced with a situation that is a jump off point for growth, you want to back down from it, and you don't want to take the journey, and you want to be rescued, and you want to take comfort in being a victim of your story. And what I'm here to tell you guys is you don't get to have what we have cultivated without going through that. Like, you don't get to have the kind of consciousness that we have developed over years of doing the same shit that you're going through right now. We've done it also in our own ways without going through it. Like, there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to that. And that was basically my message to her. And I was like, you know what? We really need to talk about this, because I think this is like a societal thing. And people don't understand that to get to a place where you look at someone and you admire them, like there is a ton of shit that happened in the background before they got there. And we just don't recognize that. We don't realize it and we don't honor it. So that's where this conversation was born.
Well, and it was interesting too, because, and like Shakti said, both of us are so open and vulnerable and transparent, and we share the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like we show it all. And yet, I don't know about you, Shakti, but I feel like I still have people who perceive my life as like this beautiful, perfect thing that I just never fuck up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you not read any of my posts?
Yeah.
Like, my life has been
you
a
got
shit show.
your shit together, girl. I'm like, really? Did you read the post about wanting to like give my kid up for adoption momentarily? You didn't read that one? Because I definitely wrote about that.
Like, it's insane to me. And yeah, when Shakti brought this message up to me, I was like, yeah, we definitely need to talk about it. And I almost struggled with, writing that if you want your life to change, you got to put in the work. I sometimes struggle with putting in the words work, right? Because there are easier ways for things to happen. But I want you a lot, right? So when we talk about work, I want you to understand it's not grind, it's not hustle, it's not pushing, it's not doing shit just for the sake of doing it. But when it comes to showing up for your own personal growth, it's fucking work. Like, I don't have any other way to say it than it sucks. It's painful. There are days you want to punch a wall. There are days when you lose your shit and you're like, you know what? I give up. Like, I can't tell you how many times in the past 8 months, 3 months, a week, last night, when I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm done. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. But then you have the moments like I had today where I go to the next place and I'm talking to the next person and I'm driving and I'm living this beautiful life that I only am able to live. And it's not perfect by any means. There's still a long way to go. But I don't get to live this life if I don't show up every single day. And so people say like, oh God, Ann, you're so consistent. I can't believe that you work out on the road. I can't believe that you portion control. I can't believe that you do all these things, because you know what? I cannot live this life if I do not show up for myself. And that was a promise that I made to myself. That was a deal that I made. That was a contract that I signed with myself, that if I want to travel, if I want to have this freedom, if I want to live life on the road, I was cold, but I'm not anymore, then I have to find a way that I am taking care of myself, like, before anything else. So most times, like, I don't go out to eat at restaurants. I barely treat myself to coffee. There's a lot of things that I don't do because it's not even about that part of the traveling. It's about my soul feeling free on the road. And it feels best. I feel best when I'm nourishing my body, mind, and soul all the time. Because otherwise, I'm dealing with depression. I'm dealing with anxiety. I'm dealing with insane fear that is really hard to control. And then I'm not enjoying my life. So I have to make a choice. And that's my choice.
A fucking man. Take it away. That's it. We could close this. Goodbye, everybody. That's it. Have a good night. Happy Monday.
At first I was like, what am I going to talk about? Oh, that apparently.
That was it. But I'm gonna add a little something to that, because you just opened up like a whole bunch of things I wanted to say. I started like conversation out feeling myself, and right now I'm sweating with the channel, so get ready for that because it's about to go down. So where I hear this a lot, or where I got the same feedback you got, Anne, was in my fitness results, because I posted a progress photo of me day 74, and of course I look amazing, I feel amazing, I can tell the difference for sure. And people are like, whoa, that's incredible. And I'm like, yeah, how'd you do it? I'm like, I was really fucking consistent. That's how I did it. No matter what. Like, and that's a non-negotiable. And let me explain something to you guys about doing really hard things, okay? Like, your life doesn't actually get any easier. That's like not really what happens. Two things happen. You get stronger and more resilient. And number two, you have the experience of overcoming challenge, which then helps you the next time you do the thing, okay? So when you're facing something really fucking hard that you've never done before, you're gonna come up to it. Hi, Edie. You're going to come up to the thing that's hard. You're going to freak out because you don't know how to deal with the thing in front of you. You're going to eventually figure it out, right? And we're going to talk about how to do that in a second. But you will make it through that thing. And then your brain is going to record that like, oh, we did that thing that was really hard and we didn't die. So let's store that in the book of things that don't kill us. And then the next time some other crazy shit happens and you're like, ah, why is this happening to me? Your brain will just pull that file folder out and be like, I remember that's happening now. You can do this again. We did that one time. And then the more you accumulate, it'll be like, and we didn't die that time. And we didn't die that time. We didn't die any of these times. You can do the thing, girl. You can do the thing. Go on there and do the thing. That's what your brain does. It's so good at it. It's so good at recording when you didn't die. So you just can't back down. Like when you have those moments, you've got to do the thing and go through it because that's how you accumulate that list. That's how you accumulate resistance. I got to the place where I'm this consistent with my fitness through a lot of failure. And I made a post about that today. I was a girl who was like making fun of home workout videos. I thought that was like a 1980s thing, an aerobic video with headbands and people on platforms, you know. Like,
I did those. I did jazzercise.
I made fun of all those people on TV doing exercise. And here I am, a fucking Beachbody coach, helping people with home workout programs, right? And that's amazing to me because I failed so much at them. I failed and I failed and I failed, but I never stopped. I never stopped. And I kept looking for the next best thing and what felt right and what felt good and hitting the wall, emotional eating and eating all my feelings and not having a support system and not having a coach and not having a this. And eventually I found my way because I just hit that wall enough that I found something that did work and a system. I plugged back into something that I had criticized. I stepped outside of my own criticism, allowed myself to have a fresh perspective, and then had a different result, right? But I was able to do that at that point in time, 4 months postpartum with insane depression and anxiety. I was able to do that because prior to that, I had jumped so many fences that were so high and so painful, and I lived. And I knew that I could jump this one if I could figure it out, okay? I had the laundry list of things that I didn't die doing, okay? Those are important. I just want to add to that.
It's so true though, because I mean, yours is fitness, and I've totally been there, obviously, with fitness as well. But mine is also taking huge leaps of faith, and going from place to place. And obviously, I know that you've had this in your story as well. But it's like, I mean, when I moved to Gainesville, when I decided to move to Gainesville, it was based on a gut feeling. I didn't know. I had never been to Gainesville before. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had flunked out of college, and yet I said I was going to end up at UF. I don't know how the fuck that was going to work out, you know? And so that was the thing that happened. And then, so when I was leaving Gainesville to go to Houston, again, like, I didn't know how it was going to work out, but like Shakti said at the list, we were like, we've done that before. We took that big leap of faith. We've done that before. And the same thing, again, when I went from Houston to Chicago, at that point I had a fiance, so it was a little bit different, but I didn't have a job. I had no guarantee that I was going to have a job. And I thought, isn't it interesting that I've moved from place to place to place, never having a job. And yet when I was in the classroom, I never, ever, ever questioned whether or not I would get a job. I had such confidence in myself as a teacher that I never questioned that I would get hired. And it wasn't until I lost my career and like had to really start relying on myself that I was like, oh shit. Like all of a sudden the confidence was gone, right? And I talked about this in a post, but it was like I had to then really start kind of relying on myself, but it's helped me grow in a completely different way. And it's been extremely painful, you know. And Shakti talked about, like, you're never going to be able to expand your life without pain. Like, you're just not. Like, you're never going to be able to fully grow. So when you hit that painful wall of, oh my God, I haven't done this before, you have an option. You have a choice. Either push through and know that the pain isn't going to kill you. I mean, it's not going to kill you. Or you back down and then say, well, I guess this is where I am. I guess this is where I stay stuck. I guess this is the best that life has to offer me. And then you live with anxiety and depression and lack of self-worth and all of that. But I can't tell you the amount of confidence that comes with pushing through and doing something that you weren't sure you were able to do. You know, it's indescribable.
Yeah, and something I see a lot, because I mentor a team of coaches, so I have the honor of working very closely with a lot of people who are building businesses based around service and like health and fitness in particular. And I see something really interesting happen with a certain population of coaches. They'll come into the team environment and they'll begin that journey, and then as soon as they start to stretch and they get uncomfortable, they bump up against something that they've never done before, or they're asked to step out of their comfort zone, or they're like, they just don't understand something and they're having to figure it out, which if you've started your own business, everybody has to do that because nobody knows how to be an entrepreneur, just like born with it, like got it. Like, no, we all have to figure it out, right? And then there's a population of them that'll just back out immediately. And this is what I explain to them. When you do that and you don't give yourself an opportunity to really figure this out, you are going to temporarily feel relief if you back out of the thing you wanted to do. There's going to be this temporary like moment of reprieve where you're going to feel relieved. And then there's a very short window of time where you're going to again feel the very same unrest that led you to make the decision to begin the thing in the first place. And when that feeling comes back, you will be living in a place of regret because you didn't actually figure out what the resistance was about. And this goes for business owners and it goes for everyone, every single one of you watching this. When you go up to a wall and you back down from it, you will temporarily feel a moment of reprieve and like, oh, great, I don't have to deal with this thing anymore. I don't have to deal with feeling like I want a divorce. I don't have to deal with feeling like I need to deal with my emotional eating. I don't have to deal with whatever the thing is that you are backing down from. You're going to feel momentary relief until the tension comes back. And it will. It will not leave you alone. You will not escape it. You will not run from it. It will find you. It will find you. So, that being said, the walls are there for you to jump. That's why they are there. In Stoicism, there is a phrase that says, the obstacle is the way. The obstacle absolutely is the way. It is not there to keep you from the way. It is the way. Especially when it's combined with that feeling that Ann and I described in a previous podcast of excitement, exhilaration, joy, something that you're really stoked about or really curious about, or you really desire to do, but then you're like freaking out. How's it going to happen? How's it going to work? How am I going to do the thing? How, that when those two things are combined, that's how you know the obstacle is the way. That's how you know, like, you got to jump the wall. That's why the wall is there. But too many times I see people back down before they even try. I see people do it all the time with their fitness, their business, their love life. Like, they just quit. They just quit. Like, this is hard. Well, shit. You can't do that as a parent. Imagine if all parents did that. Girls are hard.
Peace out.
Figure it out on your own.
Shakti, you froze. Trying to make sure. Yep, you froze. Shakti's gone somewhere. What I was gonna say though, while we wait for her to come back, is that you always hear too about the living with regrets. That's where it shows up, right? Is the living with regret. Shakti's back. Let's get you back, Shakti. I don't know if I can add you anymore. Can you invite yourself? Let's see. Mercury retrograde is fun when it comes to technology. I know you got booted, but I can't add you back. When I go to your name, there's no option to add. Can you? Let's see. Can you add yourself? I have the settings so that you can add yourself if you're able to. Otherwise, we have to start another one, which we can, but are you able to get back on? You can't invite yourself either. All right, well, we will start a part 2 of this then, and we'll go from there.